when the students, get into their second year, it is usually the better to know about the different courses that they have in the second year from the beginning itself, so that they are very clear about how to proceed, like related to these courses. Mainly, the main thing is that theory courses are there. Along with the theory courses, we have project, internship, and practical also in the second year. And these are the three courses: practical, internship, and project, which the students need to know from the beginning. Because theory course is simple. You have to read the SLM, the study materials. You have to prepare the assignments and then submit the assignments at the study center. And then finally, you are giving the term and examination. But when it comes to practical, internship, and project, these three courses are really crucial because these are courses which provide you practical field experience. These are the applied aspects of the MAPC program, you can say. So that is why it is very important to know these courses from the beginning itself, and then accordingly plan out your the how to complete these three courses within the timeline. Okay. Because many a times it happens that the students towards the end of their second year, they get anxious about like how to complete these programs, because for these courses you have to start from the beginning. You have to start planning from the beginning, because as like you all are in varied jobs, okay, you have different other commitments also, engagements also. So, and simultaneously you are doing this particular program. So that is why it is very important. Once you are very clear about these courses from the beginning itself, that will help you to plan out the course so that you are able to complete these courses within the timeline that you have. Okay. So now, right now I'll be discussing about the project that is there in the second year. You all must have chosen a specialization in the second year. If you have taken clinical psychology, your project will be, the course code will be MPC 016. If you have taken counseling psychology, the course code is MPC 026. And if it is industrial and organizational psychology you have taken, that is MPC 036, the course code of your project. So now, why you have taken this specialization? According to your interest, according to your whatever the future plans are there, according to that you have taken a particular specialization. So the practical, the project, the internship courses that we have, all these are related to the specialization course that you have chosen. So this thing you must keep in your mind. There will be three theory courses. If you have taken, suppose, let's say the example, clinical psychology, then you will have three theory courses, okay, related to clinical psychology. So the other three courses, that is practical, internship, and project, these three courses also are related to the specialization that you have taken, that is clinical psychology. If you have taken counseling psychology, your practical will be accordingly, your internship will be accordingly, and your project also will be according to that particular specialization. So, because many times we see that students have confusion about this, that they might have taken clinical, but they choose a topic which is related to the counseling psychology. So that is not acceptable, because you are specializing in one particular specialization. So that is why all your theory courses, your practical, internship, project must be related to that particular specialization. Okay. So now project, as you know, it is a course in your second year, and it is of 6 credits course. Okay. And as I said, it is relevant to the specialization that you have taken in this second year. One more thing here is that project is an optional course in the second year. Now, if you do not want to take a project, there is a provision of an alternative theory course. So if a student is not interested in doing a project work, they can take up an alternative theory course. And for the theory course, the procedure is that you have to, you'll be getting the study material, you have to go through the study material, then you will be preparing the assignment and then submit the assignment as it is there for any other theory course. Similarly, if in place of project you are opting for an alternative theory course, then you can take up like do the assignment and then submit the assignment and then write the final examination. Okay. So now if you have taken project, okay, what what do you expect from this project? What are the objectives of project? Project, as you know, it is a research study. So the main objective of project is to develop research skills. That is, you'll be identifying and formulating different research problems. Yes. So the main objective is to develop various types of research skills within you, so that with the use of these research skills, you will be able to like how to identify a particular topic, how to go about formulating a research problem, how you are framing a research design. Okay, because project is a scientific study, so how you conduct scientific investigation in a systematic way, and then how do you go about the collecting and analyzing the data and learning to use appropriate statistical methods. So all these things are there. So this will help you in developing your research skills that will prepare you for the, suppose you want to go for higher research, further research in your higher education, then that will help you if you have taken a project in the second year. Now, let us see what are the steps in the project report. I'm sorry, there's a little cough actually, having throat irritation. So, the different steps that are there during project. First of all, you have to select a guide. The guide is the most important step in the project work. So you have to take up a guide. There are criteria given in the project handbook, how you are going to select a guide. After you select a guide, you have to discuss with your guide and then finalize a topic. And again, that topic needs to be related to the specialization that you have taken. Once you finalize the synopsis, the topic, and prepare the synopsis, you have to submit the project synopsis to your regional center. So that synopsis will be evaluated, and once you get the synopsis evaluated, approval, then you have to start your data collection and analysis. Okay. And after you do the data collection, analyze the data, prepare the project report, the dissertation, that report or dissertation is submitted to the regional center again. And after you submit the report or the dissertation, that then you appear for the terminal examination, that is 5 hours in the project. Okay. So for this also you have to fill up your examination form, pay the examination fees, and then appear for the terminal examination, that is viva in the project. So if you see here, the finalizing of a topic is very crucial. Now, how do you go about finalizing a topic? First of all, as I have already told you, it has to be related to the specialization that you have taken. Okay. If you have taken counseling psychology, it has to be related to the counseling psychology specialization. Okay. And of course, you have to see what is your interest. The interest of the learner also matters a lot while selecting a topic. You can see, suppose you have taken counseling psychology and you are interested in issues that are faced by the children, okay, or adolescents. So you can focus on what are the areas of concern in that population, what are the social problems that are relevant there, and you have to also look at the literature which are available. Okay, so you have to do the review of literature, you have to refer to the psychology journals, you have to refer to the books, you also have to refer to the internet. Okay, and then you discuss with the guide also. So when you do all these things, then you are able to reach a particular topic in your area. Okay, so maybe you can see that, okay, adolescents and the social media use or the mobile excessive use of mobile or screen time, that is a concern. Okay, so depending on that a particular area, you are reviewing the literature, and based on that review of literature, you are zeroing in on a particular topic, and then you discuss with your guide about that particular topic, and accordingly, yeah, you are able to finalize a topic and then start preparing the synopsis. Okay, now, yeah, in all these things, one thing you have to keep in mind is that whatever research work you are going to do, you have to follow the ethical guidelines. Okay, ethical guidelines are very important. It should not be copied. You should not be taking it somewhere else as it is. It has to be an original research work. So that is when you are doing the review of literature, also you are referring to various journals or books or internet. You need to ensure that you are not taking the materials as it is and writing it down in your synopsis or project. Okay, so it has to be original. So you refer to the project handbook which we have provided. We have given the ethical guidelines very clearly in that. So you have to follow all those ethical guidelines. Okay, and accordingly you have to do your research work. Now, let us see what are the important dates for MAPC project. The first is that you have three phases actually. Okay, one is that synopsis submission, July session, and then January session. You know, so so synopsis submission is July session, and like you have taken July session admission, then there are two dates actually. If you belong to July session, the synopsis submission will be during the October month. Okay, suppose now this is July session is running. You have come into the second year in the July. So your synopsis submission dates are actually during the month of October, by 31st October. Okay. But since the things have got delayed, accordingly, the RC will inform you about the last date of submission. Okay. But in general, the tentative timelines that are given are for the synopsis submission, we have October month, and also we have the April month. Okay. So by that time, the synopsis needs to be submitted. If you have submitted during the October month, the project dissertation submission is by 31st May, and then you will be appearing for the project term and examination during the July, 1st July to 14th August. Okay. And then, like if you have submitted in the April duration, then your project dissertation submission will be 30th November, and then you will be submitting your project, like evaluation of dissertation and viva versus the final project DE will be in 1st January to 15th February. See, these are the dates which are tentative. Okay, depending on the situation, this might get a little delayed also. So sometimes, like the instead of February, it can be February second half or March first half also. But that again, you have to find out from your regional center. So the main point here is that you always need to be in contact with your regional center, with your study center, to know the recent updates about all these things. Okay, these datelines are given which are tentative. Okay. Okay. Now, when you are doing this project, there are certain prerequisites of starting the project course. First of all, you have to take a guide. Okay, I'll come to the point where like who can be the guide. After you select a guide, the next prerequisite is that you have to prepare a synopsis. And the most important thing is that there are MPC 5 and MPC 6 courses in your first year. Okay, so you need to be completing these two courses before you submit your synopsis in the second year. Now you are in the second year, you have opted for a project. So now before submitting the synopsis, you ensure that you have completed this MPC 5 and MPC 6. Now, why these are important? Because as you must be knowing, MPC 5 is your research methodology and MPC 6 is your statistics in psychology. These two courses are very important if you have taken a project, because you will be using the knowledge of these two courses while doing your project. So that is why we have kept these two courses compulsory. You have to complete these two courses before you go for submitting your synopsis. Now let us see who can be the guide. See, your academic counselors are approved guides for the project. Okay, so you can contact your academic counselors and then you can take them as your guide. And suppose if you like the academic counselors are not available or they have already sufficient number of students with them, then there are other criteria we have given. So you have you can check these criteria, and accordingly you can take up any other faculty who is teaching psychology at the undergraduate or postgraduate level in any college or university psychology department. You can take them also as guide. So in that case, you have to send their biodata to the faculty, to us actually, for approval. So to the discipline of psychology, you have to send the biodata so that we give the approval, and then accordingly you can further contact the concerned guide and discuss the topic and prepare the synopsis and do the project under those guides. Okay. So this thing you need to keep in mind. You can take academic counselors as guide, or if you are not taking academic counselors as your guide, you have to follow these criteria which are they are given in the handbook, and accordingly you can select them and you can send their biodata to the discipline of psychology for approval. Once you get the approval, then you can carry out your project with under the guides. Okay. Now, okay, let's see now the submission of project synopsis. Okay. Once you have prepared the synopsis, you have to submit it to your regional center. And there is a format given in the handbook. So you have to follow that handbook to prepare your synopsis. This also you need to keep in mind, because many times we find that the format is not followed. Now, since here, see, this is a distance mode program, the faculty or the evaluators are not there with you, guiding. You are doing the synopsis under the guidance of a particular supervisor and then submitting the synopsis. So this particular format needs to be followed, because your synopsis is going to evaluators. There is a panel of evaluators, it goes to them. So across the evaluators, if we keep a uniform format, then it is easier to evaluate for the evaluators. Okay, so that is why ensure that you have prepared the synopsis as per the format given in the project handbook. Okay. And then what are the enclosures that needs to go with the synopsis? That also we have given in the appendix in the project handbook, like consent letter of the guide needs to be there. Okay. There is a pro forma also for the approval of the project. So that also needs to be filled up, signed, and then enclosed along with the synopsis. So read the project handbook first, and then accordingly you can enclose those appendix in the synopsis format, and then submit the synopsis. Okay. Now this is the format. First you have to write the title, then you have to give the background of the study or introduction of the study, then you are doing the review of literature, then you are providing the rationale of the study, why you have taken up this particular study. Because see, rationale is very important, because research is not just that any topic you are taking up. Okay. There has to be a rationale of the study, why this study is important, why this study you are taking up, how this study is going to contribute to the field of research, okay, in the particular field. Okay. And then you are coming to the methodology. You are giving the blueprint of your research, like how exactly you are going to conduct this particular research. So you have to mention your research design, what kind of design you have um, taken. You have to mention the research problem, objectives, hypothesis. You have to give the sample. You have to mention the tests and tools, and then you have to mention the statistics, okay, to be used. Okay. And then what are the statistical analysis, and then references, of course, you have to give. Okay. So this is the format. As per this format, you have to prepare your synopsis. So when you discuss with your guide, you also inform your guide about the format. So and maybe you can, like the guide can go through the project handbook also, so that they know clearly what exactly is expected. And as a student, that is your primary responsibility to go through the handbook first and then inform the guide accordingly. Okay. So these are the enclosures with the synopsis. Like proforma will be there, format for synopsis evaluation is there. There are some guidelines also which we have included in the handbook. So those guidelines also you need to enclose with your synopsis. Then consent letter of the guide will be there. Then copy of grade card regarding completion of MPC 5 and 6. This is very important. You have to enclose this also along with your synopsis. Now, approval of guide, if the guide is other than academic counselor, in that case, you have to take the approval of guide beforehand from the discipline of psychology, and then that approval you can enclose in your synopsis when you are submitting the synopsis to your regional center. Okay. So after you submit the synopsis to your regional center, that goes for the evaluation, and then after the evaluation is done, the RC will communicate to you about the status of the evaluation of your synopsis. If it is approved, you can start doing your project. If it is not approved, then you have to redo the synopsis by following whatever the suggestions have been given by the concerned evaluator. Okay. Sometimes the evaluator also gives the comment that approved with modification. There are three categories actually in the evaluation. One is approved, the other one is not approved, and the third one is approved with modification. So in cases where there are minor changes required to be done by the student, so usually it is the evaluator gives that it is approved, but with these minor modifications. So in that case, the student did not resubmit the synopsis, but the student needs to ensure that all the suggestions, the minor suggestions, whatever has been given by the evaluator, those are carried out in the final project. Okay. Because when you submit the final dissertation, your viva voce is being conducted, the evaluator also checks these things, whether the student has carried out the modifications or suggestions given by the evaluator at the synopsis stage or not. Okay, so that also, so you need to ensure that whatever the suggestions have been given, you need to carry out those suggestions. Okay. Now, once you get the approval of the synopsis, you start doing your project. Like you start data collection, then you analyze the data, and then finally you write the dissertation. Okay. Dissertation or the project report, that again is to be prepared by the format, as per the format given in the handbook. For the dissertation also there is a format given in the handbook, and this dissertation is to be submitted to your regional center. So your synopsis is submitted to your RC, and also your final project report or dissertation is also submitted to the regional center. Now, regarding the format of the dissertation, this is you have the title page, then you have the certificate of originality. That is like earlier I told you about, you need to ensure that there is no plagiarism or there is no copied while you are carrying out the project. So to that extent, you have to give a certificate of originality that this is an original research work conducted by you. Okay, so this is very important. So you need to ensure that you have not followed any unethical manner, or you have not done the research in any unethical way. You have followed all the ethical guidelines while doing the research. And then, of course, the format, there is acknowledgement, table of contents, introduction, review of literature, again, rationale of the study, methodology has to be given, uh, consisting of all problems, objectives, hypothesis, research design that you have taken, okay, your sample, tests, and tools, all these things. And then you have to there is a section, results and discussion. You have to uh, mention, cite the results, you have to write the results, the findings that you have got, and then you have to discuss those findings. You have to discuss those results. Many times we see that the tables are given, the results is there in the results chapter, but the discussion is not there. See, suppose you have done the descriptive statistics, you have got mean, standard deviation, you have done the inferential statistics also, like t-test or ANOVA or correlation. Whatever values, whatever findings you have got, that you need to discuss. Okay. Now, while discussing, you have to take the help of the review of literature also. Okay. You have to cite studies, and then in the light of those existing studies, you have to discuss your findings, the findings of your study. Okay. And then at the end of it, you have the conclusion chapter. You are concluding whatever the findings you have got and how you're interpreting those findings, whatever the discussion you have done. So that conclusion chapter is there. And then implications of the study. Okay. What are the implications of your findings that you have to mention, and then give suggestions for further research also. And then finally, references and appendix also. Okay. In the appendix, you can enclose the tools that you have taken, and so those things and of course the informed consent also you have to enclose, because informed consent is also a part of the ethical this thing, so that also you need to enclose in the appendix. Okay, now term and examination. So once you complete your dissertation project reports, you submit the project report to your regional center, then you fill up the examination form. Okay, so when you submit the project report, you must be knowing when you are going to appear for the term and examination. Accordingly, you have to fill up the exam form and pay the exam fees also. Like theory courses, there are exam fees also for separately for the project, for the internship, and for the practical also. So ensure that you have filled up exam form, paid the exam fees also, and the total marks for the project is 100. Okay. The project report, it carries 70% weightage, and the viva voce it carries 30% weightage. Okay. Now, one thing here I would like to emphasize, and you need to note that there are separate pass marks in the dissertation and the viva voce. So that means you have to secure pass mark out of 70, that is evaluation of the project report or the dissertation, and you have to secure 40% in your viva voce also. Okay, so you have to pass separately in your dissertation and in your viva voce. And then your viva voce is held at the regional center. So you have to be in contact with your regional center regarding the date of the viva voce. Now let us see the evaluation scheme that is there. So as I said, it is 100 marks. Okay. Now this 100 marks, if you refer to the project handbook, we have given the evaluation scheme also there. There are different components carrying different marks. So when you are writing your synopsis, or when you are writing your final project report, you need to ensure that each of these sections you have written properly. because each of these sections carry marks. Okay, like introduction review of literature, certain marks are there, rationale of the study, implications, future suggestions, limitations. These also carry certain marks. So you have to, references also carry certain marks. So you have to ensure you write references in the proper format, the APA format. Okay, sometimes students use APA format, but they do not write it in the full APA format. Some portions are missing. Okay, so you need to ensure that the complete APA format is used to write the references. Okay, so now see, this is very clear. Actually, the evaluation scheme is given in your handbook. So what you need to do is that you just need to focus on what are the like different components having certain marks, and then accordingly just focus that all these sections are written properly. Okay, then you need not bother about securing pass marks, because if you have written each section properly, then definitely that will help you to secure pass mark, and also you can secure higher marks also. Okay. So separate passing mark 40% you have to secure, and then the total overall is also 40%. Okay. So now to summarize, so these are the various points that I have highlighted here. To summarize, as you can see here, project is a planned study. You have to be very specific from the beginning, and as you can see, it involves a lot of steps also. So from the beginning, now as you have entered your second year, once you start your theory classes, then you can start thinking of your project also. Because suppose you have taken counseling psychology, your topic will be related to your counseling psychology only. And for that, you need to study the theory courses first. Because without reading the theory courses, you will not have an idea what are the different issues or topics or the areas of concern that are there in counseling psychology. And then accordingly, you can take up a topic for your project. So it is desirable, and it is also advisable that you start reading the theory courses first. And once you are thorough about theory courses, then you can think of your project topic, discuss. As you are reading the theory courses, keep this in your mind that what kind of topics you can take. So that will help you in finalizing a particular topic. So you can follow the SMART approach that you must be knowing. You need to be specific. You can set your goals. The goals need to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and you can set a time frame also. So time bound you can make. So keeping in mind all your other engagements or responsibilities, you can plan for the project also, and then you can set timelines, and accordingly whatever requirements are there for the project course, that you can refer to the handbook and know about it, and then accordingly you can plan your time schedule for preparing the synopsis, for submitting the synopsis, then doing the data collection, analyzing the data, and then finally writing the project report. Okay. And then once you submit the project report, you can start preparing for the examination and the viva voce. Okay. And that will ensure that you complete this project course successfully. Okay. So with this, I will end here the project this thing. Okay. So if any queries are there or questions are there, we can take those. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. You have explained very clearly almost all the aspects of the project of MAPC program, from choosing guide to finalizing the project and everything. We have some questions, madam,
Yes.
which we have received from the Google form supplied by the regional center to the learners. I know that these are repetitive questions because the students, I think, never listen to our presentation. They
No,
ask
actually, it is
questions.
the other way. We can say learning requires reinforcement. So
Yeah.
time to time, we have to reinforce the learnings. Yeah.
Yeah. The first question is the correct date for synopsis submission with submission links option, because the handbook says 14th October, but Gyan Darshan program says 31st October for July batch. Number two, is option for switching from project to MPC E46 is still available? So there are two questions. First about the dates, and then the second question is there any option for switching from project to MPC E46?
See, dates, it is, the dates are like, I mean, as I had said, the dates are tentative. Okay. And stop. Okay. The dates are tentative. And like, for example, right now it is the July 2024 re-registered students. Okay. But it is going on. Okay, now this is October. So for the July 24 re-registered students, the timeline was October. But now it has got delayed. So accordingly, the RC can provide them a particular timeline and accordingly they can submit. So because these are the things which are not in our hand, so it might get a little delayed. So accordingly, the RC, these are the tentative timelines. So the students can keep these tentative timelines in mind, and then accordingly that will help them in preparing, completing the particular course timely. Okay. And regarding the second question, I think there is a norm from the university that by what timeline they can change the courses. So RC will be able to guide the students regarding this. Usually during the re-registration, they opt for a particular this thing, but there is a timeline of, I think, maybe some months are there. So within that timeline, they can change if they want, if that timeline is still available.
Okay, madam. Next question is, if we are not getting the needed support and guidance from the teacher in our study center, and the process gets delayed because of this, will we get some extension?
See, timelines are there, but then again, it is the timelines are there for the convenience of the students as well as the system. Okay, but sometimes we also keep in mind the students' requirements, and accordingly, some flexibility are given. The regional center usually they can give certain flexibility also, but then again, it should not be that there are a lot of time gap is much, and then which is not possible to like accommodate the learners' queries during that time. That is not possible, but given a particular timeline, if it is possible, definitely the faculty, the regional center, the university considers the students' requirements. Okay.
Next question is, will the guide be provided by the RC? And when to start looking for a guide if we have to find on our own?
See, as I said, the students, when they enter into the second year, they get the study materials. The first thing is that start reading the handbooks. Okay. Now, when the student reads the handbooks, when you read the handbook, you get to know that your academic counselors can be your guide. So the student can contact the academic counselors at the study center for being the guide. Sometimes they are not available because they might be having other students also. So in that case, and also if the student wants, apart from academic counselor, they can take any other guide also. The criteria are given in the handbook. Okay. So they can take a particular faculty teaching psychology at the UG or PG level in college or university psychology departments, and then submit their biodata to the discipline of psychology for approval. Okay. Once they get this approval, they can start their project work. I'm not able to hear you.
Next question, ma'am, is about the internship. Would you like to answer about the internship?
Yeah, you can say. I actually, class has gone for a meeting at the VCO.
Yes. Yeah. So I would like to request you to please share some thoughts about the internship.
Yeah. So are we taking up some questions, or we are going for the internship?
I think before taking the questions, please explain some.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So, actually, I think Suhas has just joined. Yeah. Yeah. So you have joined in right time, Suhas.
Yeah, welcome, ma'am. Professor Suhas has joined. I welcome on behalf of the Regional Center Delhi 3. Uh, Professor Swati has explained everything about the project aspect. Now I would like to request you please address the interns and academic counselors about the internship. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes, sure. Good afternoon, and I would really like to apologize because I had some urgent meeting, and then later on there is some issue going on with the internet. So the computer division director was kind enough to allow us to sit in his chamber, and so he's also right over here, and so he is the reason that we are able to join this particular program. So we are really grateful to him. There is some internet issue in the whole IGNOU campus actually. So now I think they're trying to restore it. So, good morning, and I really appreciate this initiative taken by Regional Center Delhi 3, and congratulations to Dr. Ashok Sharma because he keeps on having such orientations. We have seen this over the period of time, over the 14 years that we have had this discipline of psychology. So, Professor Swati Patra probably must have explained to you that the internship is an important component like project and practicum, because when we talk about a psychology program, you need to have hands-on practice. You are going to deal with individuals, and individuals are different, and that is the reason why you need to carry out research to understand how individuals are different or how they are same. And at the same time, you also need to carry out something like internship and practicum so that you have an idea about what are the different psychological tests and experiments, and as well as take up different case studies. So as far as internship is concerned, at MA, with regard to MA psychology, internship is a compulsory course in MA second year, which is to be taken based on your specialization. So if the learner has taken specialization as clinical psychology, then the internship will be in clinical psychology. If the learner has taken course in specialization as counseling, it will be in counseling. And if the learner has taken industrial and organizational psychology, then accordingly that the internship will be based on that, as with project and practicum. So as you must be aware, there are 3 theory courses. Hello. And then there is project, internship and practicum. Project of course is optional. So internship in MA psychology is of 8 credits. Hello. And 1 credit is equal to 30 study hours.
Our problem came, now it is restored. Okay.
30 study hours, so that's why 280 hours. So a learner will have to carry out internship 240 hours, and the learner will have to carry out internship for 240 hours. And since we have learners who are working or engaged into different kind of activities, it is not necessary that this internship is carried out in one particular stretch. Okay, it can be as per the convenience of the learner and the organization, of course. Okay, so during this 240 hours, the learner has to take up 10 cases. Okay, as far as, of course, industrial and organizational psychology is concerned, besides taking cases, the learner can also kind of carry out or observe the activities. Like, for example, how performance appraisal is carried out in an organization. Okay, as far as all the details about the internship are very well given in the handbook of internship, which the discipline has been updating over a period of time. We keep updating the handbook based on the feedback, valuable feedback that we receive from the learners, the regional centers, and also the academic counselors. So what would be the first step? The first step would be, understanding the subject. So it is better that you look at your course material, or our course material is also available in eGyan course. So reading that course material, because you have to understand your specialization. So if it is clinical psychology, you need to learn about what is psychopathology, how is diagnosis carried out, what is psychotherapy. These basic things you need to know. Second would be reading the handbook of internship from first page to the last page. Maybe reading it multiple times, because you have to understand how you have to carry out internship. Okay, because we are an open and distance learning institute, you have to remember that the onus is on the learner. You are responsible for yourself. We are all there to support and everything clearly in detail is given in the handbook of internship. And you learners have to remember.
Yes,
We are audible, right? Faisal ji, we are audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible, please.
They will be otherwise informed. Thank you. Okay. So we have to remember that there is no online internship. Okay, we used to, with the approval of the competent authority, we had allowed online internship during COVID period because somehow we wanted our learners to, get their degrees, get some experience. But presently there is nothing called online internship. In fact, internship, the very term internship means hands-on practice. So if any learners carry out online or hybrid internship, then it will not be considered as valid. So the procedure is, once you have and you have a clarity, then you have to first of all select an organization or agency. Organization or agency is to be selected based on the criteria that is given in the handbook of internship. Also, that agency or organization, there should be an agency supervisor who should be a psychologist. Okay, as far as industrial and organizational psychology is concerned, the internship can also be carried out under human resource manager over there. Okay, because we have given that flexibility, because not necessarily psychologists will be available in industrial setup. There are psychologists as well. But in case if there are no psychologists, then you can carry out, the agency supervisor can be the HR manager or personnel manager as well. Okay, so please read all these conditions clearly in the handbook. So once you select the organization and you know who the agency supervisor is, you need to take the consent of your academic counselor. So please ensure that the academic counselor is allotted to you well before time. Okay, so I select, suppose there is an ABC organization. I want to do my internship over there. It is meeting the criteria given in the handbook. Then there is an agency supervisor who is a psychologist as well. Then I will go to my academic counselor and I will take consent. Okay, the academic counselor will say, okay, this organization seems to be good. You will get good exposure there. Please carry on. Then if you want reference letter from the headquarters, from the regional centers, from the academic counselor, you can get that reference letter and then that can be submitted. And in today's time, like especially Delhi learners, so many of them, they are going to RML hospital, they are going to AIMS, they are going to such reputed organizations, and they are extremely doing well. Because if you do your project practicum internship well, you will develop that knowledge. As far as internship is concerned, there are two important people involved. One is your academic counselor. Who is academic counselor? They are the teachers at your study center approved by IGNOU. Okay. And there are also agency supervisor. Agency supervisor, of course, is the psychologist at the organization or human resource manager in case of industrial and organizational psychology. These two people are extremely important because you're going to regularly keep in touch with them. Agency supervisor is going to give you cases, help you with probably dealing with the cases, or maybe you will observe the case in the presence of the agency supervisor. Okay. Similarly, if there are any doubts in this regard, you can always go to the academic counselor and discuss with them. At the end of the internship, academic counselor is going to evaluate you based on certain criteria, as well as agency supervisor is also going to evaluate you. Each of them will evaluate you out of 30 marks. So total 60 marks are internal, 30 by agency supervisor, 30 by academic counselor, and then the remaining 40 will be based on the viva voce that will be carried out at the regional center by an external examiner who is approved by the IGNOU. Okay, or the discipline of psychology gets a list of examiners, external examiners approved, and from that list the regional center will invite, and that person will be your external examiner. You also have to remember that you have to pass in both internal and external component. So 40% is the passing, out of 60 also you have to pass, and out of the 40 also for the viva voce you need to pass. As far as all the format is concerned, everything is given very clearly. Even the evaluation methodology is very clearly given in the handbook of internship. Okay. One very important or a frequently asked question is whether the internship report should be written or it should be typed. It can be mixed of both. Your observation, you can always type it out. But if you don't want to type it out, you can write it down. And normally you take case history, you've taken case history, or you've taken mental status examination. So probably you already have a prepared, pre-printed format in that you write with your hand. Same you can put it over there. Okay, so it can be mixed of typed and handwritten, but it should be neatly filed. And remember, whenever you submit your internship report, especially hard copy submitted, please take an acknowledgement, and at the same time, please keep a copy of that internship report with you. Okay, that is very important, because during examination time you will have to go through that report, and then you will have to answer the questions that have been posed to you by the external examiner. So I suppose this is as far as the internship is concerned, basic information. And please do read the handbook of internship, and if there are any questions, they can be asked. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for explaining each and every aspect of internship component of MAPC program. There are some questions we have received, ma'am. Would you like to answer these questions?
Yes, I think Faisal ji, you can ask.
Yeah.
हाँ बताइए, questions बताइए.
These questions we have received through Google form. I would like to read out 3-4 questions are there.
Yes.
Will I be noted counselor or coordinator for internship? Do I have to share the details of internship place before starting? Who should I contact for it?
Right. As I already mentioned, yes, the study center can allot the academic counselors to the learners. Okay, and of course, as after the organization agency is selected, the information needs to be provided to the academic counselor, and the academic counselor needs to also provide the consent, because see, we are having our program all over India. Okay, we know to some extent, like little bit at the headquarters, we know a little bit about the organizations in Delhi. But suppose if there is an organization in Kerala, a learner wants to do over there, we are not aware, but the academic counselor will be aware, being a psychologist, right? So the learner should inform the academic counselor and take consent from him or her about the agency or the organization.
Next question, ma'am. There is a query related to internship program in which we do not know that we will go to the place where we have to do internship, but how will they appoint us? So please send us an appointment letter or provide us some information so that we can tell them that yes, we have been sent for internship by IGNOU and we do not know how to do internship at. So focus a little on this thing so that we get the information how to do it. What will be the first step for the internship?
So as I already mentioned, see, the criteria for selection of organization is given in the handbook. We have purposely allowed the learners to select the agency. Why? Because so many of our learners are already into schools. They are teaching in schools. So many of them are already into some employment. And in case if they feel, like for example, if a person is already working in an organization and the person has taken industrial and organizational psychology, without interfering with his or her work, the person can do internship in his organization with the due permission, provided that the organization fulfills the criteria. Okay, so if a person is already working, she's a teacher in school or he's a teacher in a school, and there is a counselor also in that school who is from psychology background, so that person can do over there as well, as per the convenience of the organization. So we have given this freedom to the learners to select the agency or the organization, and they want to do in a separate organization in an NGO. We always give a reference letter. The reference letter, the format is also given in the handbook of internship. They can either approach the regional center or they can approach the headquarters, and we will easily give a reference letter. That reference letter and the fact that you already have the iCard of IGNOU, you can always approach that organization and say that I am pursuing MA Psychology program and I would like to do my internship with you. And it is also a good idea that when you start, so please inform agency supervisor, show her or him the handbook of internship. Explain to them also what is expected. Right? So reference letter, we do not give appointment letter. We gave a reference letter. There is nothing called appointment letter in this context. There is a reference letter.
Ma'am, I would like to inform you that this session is going live on Facebook.
Right.
And there are 256 learners or academic counselors who are watching this program. And also they are submitting their comments.
Okay.
So one of the comment is from Balwan. He is asking to do internship. Also, we have to wait result for MPC 005 or and 006.
Very good question. No, because that is for project. Project is research based. For that, understanding of research methodology and statistics is extremely important. As far as internship is concerned, there is no such condition. It's a separate course from project and practicum. But you do have to remember that before you start with your internship, develop some idea about your subject area. As I was giving you an example, understand what is psychopathology, understand some psychological disorders, depression or anxiety disorder, or even children related problems. So that behavioral problems in children, so that when you go to an organization, you are representing IGNOU. Okay, so they should also feel that these students have that necessary knowledge, basic theoretical knowledge to carry out internship with our organization. So it is always better that you go through your counseling related course material, you go through your industrial and organizational related course material or clinical psychology related course material, so that when you go to that organization, they don't feel that you don't know anything about psychology. Okay, so but there is nothing like any particular course that you need to register for second year. The re-registration for second year is very important.
In fact, actually, if I add here, it is either it is for internship or for project. It is expected that the students go through the theory course materials first. All the 3 theory courses that are there, they need to go through those theory courses. Then they will develop some understanding about the concerned specialization that will help them in carrying out the internship as well as the project.
Correct.
Ma'am, same type of question has been raised by Saisha Talish on Facebook Live. She is asking, ma'am, I haven't taken my first year exams, which I will be writing in December this year. For submitting the synopsis, we need the marks for MPC 005 and MPC 006. Yes. What should I do now?
Yeah, see, for that, the student has to clear MPC 5 and 6 first. But if the student has come into the second year, and started reading the theory courses, then she can start preparing the synopsis with discussion with the guide. But submitting the synopsis, she will do once she clears MPC 5 and 6.
Nabanita Dasgupta is asking, can I get my course changed after taking admission in second year?
Course change, actually, if it is relating to from the project to the theory course, that or like the specialization change, that I think the university is having certain norms, the procedure, like within a timeline it can be changed, so they have to follow that timeline.
I think, ma'am, you have answered all the questions related to project and internship. Now I would like to request our colleague ARD, Dr. Neeraj, to please propose order. Thanks. Dr. Neeraj, please.
Yes, Dr. Neeraj, just give me a minute.
Okay, sir.
I would also like to thank Professor Suhas Madam also, because despite her busy schedule, she was busy in some meeting at our IGNOU headquarters in Vice Chancellor office. But I requested her to kindly please join us so that our learners get guidance from her also. Thank you so much, madam. Despite your busy schedule, we are involving you in our all types of activities related to MAPC program. And ma'am, one question many times students ask us, and I discussed this thing with Monica Mishra madam also a few days ago. Madam, what should be the practicably ideal sample size for doing the project? Because many times, many synopsis evaluators, they reject the synopsis that you have taken a very less sample size and you should you should do your project on more sample and more respondents. So what should be the ideal sample size which can be taken by the students for doing their project work, ma'am?
Dr. Ashok Sharma, you yourself are a psychologist, and Swati would like to, of course, answer this question. It basically depends on the nature of the sample. Okay, suppose if you are doing on individuals who have been diagnosed with a depression, though of course such topic you have to be very ethical as well. So it will depend on the nature of the sample. If the sample is very sensitive, you have taken people diagnosed with cancer, for example, it could be a smaller sample as well. But otherwise, if you are taking like adolescents, so minimum statistically, at least it should be 30. Swati would like to add something to this.
Yeah. So as you rightly said, it depends on the nature of the topic.
Nature of the sample.
And the sample will depend according to the topic what the student has taken. So, and of course, whether it is a qualitative research or a quantitative research, that also is a criteria which will decide the size of the sample. And like if it deals with a specific sample, like children with autism, okay, or like cancer patients, okay. So in that case, you will get minimum number of sample only. Okay, but if it is a quantitative type of study, as Suhas said, it is minimum 30 is required. But if it is a qualitative study, then less number of sample also will do, because the nature of the study is different in qualitative research. So in all the cases, the topic which the student has taken, that will decide what will be the size of the sample. Okay. Because sometimes we find that students has taken, suppose, 400 sample. That's a huge sample. At the master's level, it is very difficult to get that kind of sample within that limited time period also. So that is not expected. And then in that case also the question will come how the student has completed also. That kind of question also can come up. So the bottom line is that the students has to do the research work in an ethical manner.
Very important.
So yes. Handbook, in the project handbook, we have given the ethical guidelines, and also the MPC 5 and 6 also, these things have been mentioned. So the student needs to read all those things, okay, and then accordingly do an original research work in an ethical manner. That is the most important thing.
Yes, thank you, madam. Thank you so much, madam. I raised this question on behalf of all of our thousands of learners.
Absolutely.
Because today this program is being viewed by all the MAPC second year learners of all the 57 regional centers, and we have been getting such type of queries from few learners that either their academic counselor has asked them to take the sample size of either 100, 150, 200.
No, that is not required actually.
Maybe what we can do from the RC side, you also can do this thing. The academic counselors who are there, we can have an orientation with them specifically related to internship, practical and project also. So that is also possible, so that whatever doubts are there related to these three main courses of MAPC, that can be resolved.
Because I think main objective of project is to familiarize them with how they should carry out research. They're too young, meaning I feel not age-wise, in terms of their study of psychology. They are still master's level, and this is the first step they are taking towards any kind of research. So they should understand what are the difficulties. As we all know, people who have done their doctorate, we all know how difficult it is to collect sample, to interact with people. One single questionnaire, the number of variables. How many variables you have, that many you will probably have standardized tools.
And I think at this point, sir, it can also be emphasized that entering the field is very important. What Suhas ma'am is saying, going to the field and collecting data. So what we observed in the recent Viva VOC of the learners, that they have gone for the virtual mode, data collection in the virtual mode. Sir, I think that we should refrain from collecting data as of now through the virtual mode, though of course the technology and everything is there, because this is the first learning step, right? So entering the field, okay, fine. Virtual space is also a field if we explain it those ways. But going to the physical space is equally important. collecting, information from a participant who is, say, for example, a parent of a, learning, a child with a learning disability, right? So how the kind of interaction, the rapport building, and so on,
the sensitivity with which you approach the person.
So the modus operandi will absolutely be different if we collect data from in the virtual space or the physical space. So at this platform, we would also like to emphasize that our learners should go to the field, and there in the physical mode they should try to collect data instead of the virtual mode, because I don't know, they just convert the entire questionnaire into a Google form and so on. But जैसे अभी आपने data collect किया है through the the questions,
yes,
this is okay, right? जैसे मान लो किसी का feedback चाहिए, that's absolutely okay कि Google form से हमने feedback ले लिया है, कोई survey कर लिया. But research oriented जो होता है, हमेशा it is important to enter the field, collect the data, because there also it's a learning exercise. This is from my side.
Yes, madam.
Yeah,
madam, thank you so much. Actually, it is the guidance which all of us, we were feeling a need of your guidance and these types of guidelines only, so that our learners may also feel confident that they are on the right path.
yeah.
Because this program is a very popular program throughout our country. Lots of thousands of learners are getting enrolled just to get some professional knowledge, professional skills. So your guidelines and this guidance is extremely valuable for all of us, madam. Thank you so much, madam, for kindly sparing your valuable time for us and our students. Thank you, madam.
Thanks, sir. And we look forward to further, these interactive sessions.
Yes, madam, please. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Faisal, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am, for guiding our learners. Now, to end the program, I would like to request Dr. Neeraj, please propose a vote of thanks.
On behalf of our team, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Professor Suhas ma'am, Director of School of Social Sciences, IGNOU, for your continuous support and leadership in organizing this program. Ma'am, we are truly grateful for your continuous support. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your valuable time with us. I would also like to extend my gratitude to Professor Swati Patra ma'am, Program Coordinator, School of Social Sciences, for delivering such an insightful and engaging presentation. Ma'am, you presented complex information in a clear and accessible way and making it extremely valuable for our learners. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your valuable time with us. I also thank to Dr. Monica, ma'am, for taking care of our learners. Thank you, ma'am. My sincere thanks to Dr. Ashok Sharma, sir, our Senior Regional Director, for your continuous guidance, leadership, and encouragement. Your motivation inspires us to always make every effort for excellence in our work. I also thank to Dr. M.R. Faisal, ARD, for thoughtful planning and coordination, which ensured the smooth running of this meeting. I also thank to all the participants for joining this meeting. I also thank to our RC staff members for their exceptional work in organizing this meeting. Your efforts behind the scenes ensured everything runs smoothly. Once again, thank you everyone. I hope